Morning, Representative.
Morning, Mr. Chairman.
You may begin.
And I'd like to start off by apologizing for my failure to be here earlier on the agenda. There was a communication error through my office, and I was unaware of that placement. I appreciate the opportunity to shuffle the deck a little bit, sir. Today, I'd like to address the committee and discuss a very small sliver of opportunity for improvement in Pennsylvania, and that is specifically dealing with the transportation of firearms. What happens now in Pennsylvania is that if you are a carrier if you have a concealed carry permit, for the most part, Pennsylvanians who have a concealed carry permit can travel and go, they can walk, they can drive, and there are not restrictions or issues with that firearm being concealed. But there is a smaller subset of Pennsylvanians that choose not to have a concealed carry permit, but do choose to travel with a firearm. Now, because we're an open carry state, or a state that if somebody has a firearm on the outside of their body, fully exposed, they can walk around and are able to do so. But the moment an individual has a firearm and enters a car and that car door is closed, then now that firearm is considered concealed. And so what happens, and specifically my bill is addressing the transportation of firearms under Title 18. It's Section 6106, firearms not to be carried without a license. And there is currently about 22 exemptions where an individual who does not have a permit to carry a concealed weapon is able to travel to, let's say, sport shoot, or to go to a armory, or to get a gun repair, or a wide variety, 22 exemptions that if any time through the law they stop in their transportation between point A and point B, they're in violation of Pennsylvania law. And so what happens here is that we have a segment of legal, lawful gun owners that are not intending to break the law, but maybe they stopped for milk, maybe they had an accident where they were not directly traveling between point A and point B, and this gets them in trouble with the law. There's also another aspect and benefit of trying to amend or improve this law, and that's from a police safety standpoint. As a former Marine, and I was a military policeman in the Marine Corps, part of a challenge that an officer has is as they approach a vehicle, there is a very small window, split-second window, if there is a bad actor inside, for that person and that officer to be able to react if they see a firearm. So the goal of the legislation that I have in co-sponsorship memo, it's bipartisan, there are 22 different co-sponsors currently, is that we would bring Pennsylvania forward and in line with the federal standards, which very simply says that if you are not a concealed carry holder, that your firearm your handgun would be transported in a case with the ammunition in a separate case. And that would be in the trunk of the vehicle. If the vehicle didn't have a trunk, then it would be in its own concealed case and or in a glove compartment. So it's a very tight window, Mr. Chairman, and intended to help lawful gun owners understand their rights, help law enforcement identify a person who may have unlawful intent but has not yet committed an unlawful act. So if I am not supposed to have a handgun and I have a handgun within my reach, I'm wrong. Very clearly I'm wrong. If I have a handgun and not a permit to carry and it is loaded, I'm wrong. Very clearly I'm wrong. And so it helps both law enforcement, legal gun owners, lawful gun owners, and individuals who may have a concern if they see a firearm, but they're not sure what the intent is. And actually right now, which is a shame, that it is easier for an individual to travel through the state of Pennsylvania with a firearm than it is for an individual in Pennsylvania to travel with a firearm. And so this legislation, we've sat down with our law enforcement, with FOAC, with the state police, with our municipal police, to be able to try to find a common landing spot so that we can improve the transportation of firearms and help focus on efforts on unlawful acts. And that's really, in a nutshell, the goal and the intent. It's been in the standards. Some changes that we've made from previous versions was prior versions had a uniform reciprocity for the transportation or for the concealed carry, and that's been removed in this version. So it's very specific to the transportation of firearms by individuals who do not have a concealed carry permit.
So what was the reaction when you sat down with law enforcement with your
So
intent?
initial reaction with some of the municipal police forces were a little bit of confusion, some knee-jerk resistance because of prior versions maybe had some language in there which was much more robust. And then once we met with them and explained our goal to clarify, law enforcement was positive on it. The state police were very positive on it. You know, she felt that it would help to clarify that process. And again, we haven't issued this with a bill number yet because we don't want to be quick, you know, to overreact. And ceasefire also was positive on the universal understanding so that we would eliminate 22 different factors and just very clearly say, if you're traveling with a firearm, it's unloaded and it's separate from the ammunition as it is at the federal level, sir.
Questions or